Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. The garage was dusty, filled with roaring engines and the smell of oil. Emily, a modest mechanic of 5 years, was wiping her hands on her old rag when a metallic whir caught her attention. A bright red Mustang was rolling into the workshop, and behind the wheel was an impeccably dressed man with rugged features and a distant air. "Need a hand?" asked Emily, her voice trembling between excitement and nervousness. The man looked at her, a slight smile playing on his lips. "Apparently so. This old car is playing tricks on me, and I don't have time for that." Emily approached, examining the engine. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from emotion. She had always dreamed of meeting someone so unattainable. As she worked, he watched her every move, impressed by her dexterity and speed. Then, when she looked up to ask him for a tool, his gaze fell on his finger. A massive diamond ring sparkled under the neon light. She knew that ring. It was the one her sister had shown her in a magazine months ago, the one belonging to the mysterious billionaire Jackson Hart, known for his business dealings, his lavish parties, and his perfect marriage to a woman no one ever talked about. Emily felt her heart clench. She had just helped a stranger fix his car, and now she realized that the man who was looking at her with admiration was the husband of the woman she had secretly admired all her life, and whom she had believed to be unattainable. Her instincts screamed at her to stay calm, but she knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Emily couldn't believe her eyes. The Mustang's engine was now running smoothly, but her mind was racing. Every time she caught Jackson Hart's eye, her heart skipped a beat. She sensed there was something behind that polite smile, but she didn't know what. "You have real talent," he said, running his hand over the hood as if to show his appreciation. "Few people know what they're doing with a car like this." Emily felt a mixture of pride and embarrassment. "Thank you. I'm just doing my job." She noticed the ring on his finger again, shining with an almost blinding brilliance. This detail tormented her. This man was married, rich, unattainable, and she had just spent an hour alone with him in a garage. Jackson, for his part, couldn't take his eyes off Emily. He had never been attracted to someone so simple, so natural, and yet, he sensed that curiosity, that spark in her eyes. But he was married, and that thought brought him back to reality. Emily tried to focus on the engine she had just repaired, but every noise, every movement of Jackson made her nervous. Her intuition screamed that something was going to change her life that day, but she didn't yet know what. As she put away her tools, Jackson leaned forward slightly. "Listen. I know this isn't normal, but I was wondering, would you be willing to have a coffee, perhaps tomorrow?" Emily felt her hands grow sweaty. She wanted to say yes, but the weight of the ring and the reality of the situation made it hard to speak. She managed to whisper, I can't." Jackson nodded, his smile almost disappearing. "I understand, but I'll get back to you." When she watched him leave, Emily knew one thing for certain, that single moment had changed something within her. And whether she liked it or not, she was about to be drawn into a world far more complex than her own. The next day, Emily couldn't concentrate. Every noise in the garage reminded her of Jackson, and the ring that glittered on his finger kept haunting her thoughts. She tried to convince herself that he was married, that she had to forget about the encounter, but it was impossible. While she was cleaning an old car, her phone vibrated. An unknown number. Hesitantly, she answered. "Emily?" The voice was deep, familiar. Her heart leaped. "Jackson," she murmured. I need your help," he said, his voice a little strained. "It's not about the car, it's personal." Emily felt a shiver run down her spine. What kind of personal problem could a married billionaire have? A few hours later, she found herself in Jackson's luxurious office, a vast room with glass walls overlooking the city. On his desk, the ring still glittered, but this time, something was amiss. It had been engraved. Emily approached, intrigued. "What is?" she asked. Jackson lowered his eyes, almost ashamed. This ring, it's not just a symbol of marriage. It represents a secret my wife and I share, and I believe you're the only one who can help me protect it. Emily felt her stomach clench. A secret? What secret could be so dangerous that a man like him would need the help of a mere mechanic? Jackson continues. There are people, associates, enemies, who want to get hold of certain information about me. This ring contains a key, a kind of code. And I fear it might fall into the wrong hands. Emily stepped back slightly, aware that she had just entered a world she didn't know. It wasn't just a billionaire, a car, and a chance encounter anymore. It was a mixture of danger, mystery, and attention she couldn't ignore. When Jackson handed her the ring, Emily felt the gravity of the situation. Accepting this responsibility could change her life forever, but refusing seemed impossible. Emily gripped the ring tightly in her hand, her heart pounding wildly. She had agreed to help Jackson, but she didn't yet know what she was getting herself into. A few days later, while working on an old Camaro in her garage, she felt a shiver run down her neck. A figure was standing near the entrance, but when she looked up, there was no one there. Yet, something in the air told her she wasn't alone. That evening, Jackson arrived in person to check on the progress of a small project related to the ring. But before he could even explain, a black car slowed down in front of the garage. Emily felt a wave of panic. Two men in suits got out and walked toward her with cold stares. "Emily Thompson?" one of them asked. Before she could reply, Jackson intervened, his gaze piercing. "Leave her alone. She has nothing to do with this." The man smiled, but that smile reflected no sympathy. "Everything is tied to this ring, Mr. Hart. And we want it." Emily felt her stomach clench. What she had thought was a simple car accident had turned into a dangerous game. And now she understood that Jackson hadn't just hired her for her mechanical skills, he needed her to protect a secret that could put their lives at risk. Later, Jackson locked the garage door and turned to Emily. "Look, I know you didn't want to get involved in all this, but I have no choice. If that ring falls into the wrong hands, everything I've built, everything we have, could disappear." Emily felt a mixture of fear and excitement. She was now part of a world she had never imagined. And yet, she couldn't deny the attraction she felt for Jackson. The danger was real, the tension palpable, and one thing was certain, her life had just changed forever, and nothing would ever be the same again. In the days that followed, Emily found herself immersed in a world she never thought possible. Jackson had invited her to his vast residence, far from the city, under the pretext of working in safety. There, surrounded by luxury and secrets, she began to understand the extent of the mystery. Jackson sat down at his desk, the ring spread out before him. "Emily, what you need to know is that this ring isn't just a symbol. It's a device. It contains very sensitive information." Emily frowned. "Information? Like what?" Jackson hesitated, then said, "Documents that could ruin careers, destroy businesses, and even endanger lives. My wife and I have always been careful, but someone has managed to discover what we protect." Emily felt the weight of the situation fall upon her shoulders. She was no longer just a mechanic helping a wealthy client. She was now the guardian of a secret that could cause catastrophes. Suddenly, Jackson stood up and walked toward the bay window. The city lights illuminated his face, revealing an unusual, almost vulnerable expression. "Emily. I know this isn't normal, but I can't trust anyone else. You're the only one with the honesty, courage, and intelligence to help me." Emily felt a strange warmth in her chest. The danger was real, but the attraction between them was becoming impossible to ignore. She had to choose between staying safe in her simple life or plunging headfirst into this complex and dangerous world. As she reached out to take the ring, her phone vibrated. A message. "We know you're here. Get ready." Emily's blood ran cold. The danger was no longer a distant threat, it was immediate, and she and Jackson had to act before it was too late. Night was falling on Jackson's residence. Emily clutched the ring in her hand, feeling the weight of the secret and the danger pressing down on her shoulders. With every sound in the shadows, her heart beat faster. Suddenly, a sharp noise echoed outside. The men searching for the ring had arrived. Jackson rushed towards her. "Emily, listen to me, you have to do exactly as I say. If we fail, all is lost." Emily nodded, despite her fear. Together, they devised a daring plan, to outwit their pursuers and secure the ring. Emily, with her mechanical ingenuity, created an ingenious diversion using an old car and some electrical cables. The men entered the garage, but were met with a cloud of smoke and a series of improvised traps. Jackson and Emily took advantage of the confusion to escape through a secret exit he had kept for emergencies. Outside, in the silence of the night, Jackson turned to Emily. "You were incredible. Without you, I don't know what would have happened." Emily, breathless, felt a wave of emotions wash over her. Fear, adrenaline, but also a deep desire she couldn't deny. "I only did what was right," she murmured. Jackson approached, his face illuminated by the city lights. "Emily, I know I'm married, that everything seems impossible, but from day one, I've never felt this way about anyone." Silence enveloped them, heavy with tension and unspoken words. Emily knew she had fallen into a whirlwind she couldn't control, but she regretted nothing. The ring, a symbol of danger and mystery, had also been the catalyst for a connection that no wealth, no secret, could erase. As they watched the city spread out below them, Emily realized that her life had changed forever. What she had thought would be a simple day in a garage had turned into an adventure of courage, mystery, and forbidden emotions. And for the first time, Emily knew that sometimes, the most unexpected encounters could turn an entire life upside down.